And on this episode of Chalk It to the Game, we look in depth at the upcoming Super Bowl matchup between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady against the Kansas City Chiefs and their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes.
Man.
So
But,
since you did say something about the Super Bowl,
mhm.
I'm hearing this debacle about the young goat versus the old goat, and that the young goat beat Tom Brady, the greatest of all time.
It ain't gonna happen.
What are y'all thoughts, man?
It ain't gonna happen.
Is it too early? Like, it's too early. Even if he does beat Tom Brady, where is the makeup of his resume for him to just say he's the greatest of all time right now?
I'm telling you, man, it's storyline. Half of this is a storyline. You won 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. All right, cool. That's great. But are you going to continue it? Then I will consider putting you in the GOAT conversation. But if you're not going to continue it, you just end up with 2 rings. There's Peyton Manning has 2 rings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's Eli has 2 rings.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, come on now. Any quarterback.
It's like, where's his
Quite a
ceiling?
few quarterbacks who have 2 rings, but nobody at the quarterback position has 6.
I mean, yeah, that's all good. But I think that the question just becomes, where is his ceiling? All right, because at this point, as far as winning and legacy, marginally, does it get better? Does his legacy get better with each Super Bowl win? And that's barring. So if he wins, say if he wins this one, hypothetically, if he wins this one, but what happens? Like, but he's not it, but he doesn't make it the rest of his years in the NFL. What's his legacy? Is he still going to be regarded as the GOAT, or what's up? I mean, like, because he's hit the ceiling. He's hit a pretty high ceiling already in his first 4 years.
Yeah.
First
Yes,
4 years. So
he has to stay number one in
Yeah.
passing yards like he has been, number one in touchdowns as always, have a great QBR rating like he always has been. He just has to continue that for
and
the
and
next
that's
5
the
years,
problem.
to be honest.
If
Yes,
if y'all look at
he has
Brady's
a
stats,
10-year
though,
contract. If he literally plays at an elite MVP level for the contract's entirety, all right, cool. I'll give it to him.
but Brady hasn't even done that. He hasn't played. Look, Brady hasn't never had, in my opinion, I don't think he's really ever had an MVP season, other than maybe 2 or 3 years. Like maybe the year he went 16-0. Maybe one of the first Super Bowl years. But other than that, he's been very good. Never really been at the top of stats of really anything. He's just been really good at what he does, and his teams have been really good. So you're gonna say that Mahomes has been at the top of his stats, have been just killing it every way. He's gonna have to continue to do that. Brady, he's just been winning. I mean, it's not like he's overly talented or anything like that. He just gets the ball where it needs to go, and he's good in the clutch. So I mean, like, it's just gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. It's 2 different narratives, 2 different storylines. It's gonna be interesting to see. But I don't think that it's even an old goat versus a young goat thing. And I wouldn't even. Mahomes is good, but goat is a little too much.
It's way too early in his career.
Way too early. I don't even give it. You got to say GOAT. Honestly, would I say Brady's the GOAT? I don't know. If you're still playing, it's kind of hard to say that you're the greatest of something. It's just kind of hard. And, but...
If Peyton Manning had the same amount of rings as Tom Brady, then you can say Peyton Manning is the GOAT.
I don't know. Because then that's 4 more rings or 4 more championship runs or 4 more seasons that he'd have been doing way more spectacular things. So what would he have done in those 64 regular season games and those 16, playoff games?
No,
what have he done? That's 80 games right there.
Walker's records himself.
I mean, he broke
Exactly
the recorks.
He was
top 5 in passing
I don't
yards.
know. I just feel like people are just throwing the GOAT word so like loosely.
Yeah,
like everybody
that's a
deserves
fair title.
Well, who would you say is the greatest quarterback? I could give you the greatest running back, in my opinion.
So wait, are we talking about greatest of all time, like greatest football player, or are we talking about just greatest quarterback?
Just greatest quarterback.
Mine was
Whew.
always Manny just because the way he manipulated the defense.
You said Archie Manning?
Peyton Manning. Peyton
Oh,
Manning.
okay. I just heard Manning. I had to clarify.
That's
Okay.
tough.
It's literally
Tough.
rings that give Tom Brady the GOAT status.
Well,
Honestly,
it's other things too. His clutch performances, like you can't take those away from him. You
You
can't
can't.
take away coming back from, no offense, Keith, can't come back from 28-3. Like no quarterback has done that, and that was for his number 5, right?
Yeah.
5 or 6. That was 5.
Five.
So I mean, like the dude has had some great moments. If we're talking about just skill, I got a couple QBs ahead of him. But if we're talking about winning and character and being a leader, I would give him top 2, top
So
2 or
who's
3.
above him?
I man, it's hard to say you're the greatest. Like I love Joe Montana. I love him. I think he's a really good quarterback. I thought that Dan Marino would have been a great quarterback if he had won one championship. I think he'd have had
You
a
put
case
him as
for
the GOAT if you just won that one.
Aaron Rodgers.
it.
Like I'm saying, bro,
Dan
all these
Marino.
quarterbacks we're naming, if they had the same amount of rings
Dan
as Tom
Marino.
Brady, they could have been in that conversation.
Hell
You
yeah,
don't watch
because you gotta
like,
take
oh, Tom
take
Brady
it.
isn't the
You're
greatest. Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, they have way more skill than he does.
yeah, but they don't have the winning. They don't have the character. They don't have the
Yeah.
that
But
it factor.
And that's
Brady
what
doesn't have the
that's what
athleticism or the
separates him.
skill, so it's a trade off. You have a trade off. Am I taking skill or am I taking the intangibles? That's the question. If I'm taking skill, I'm going Michael Vick all day. The greatest QB. Randall Cunningham, greatest arm. Like, come on, and he could run.
I mean, Michael Vick,
Warren Moon.
he was nothing
Yeah,
but.
Warren.
If Michael Vick was developed right, he would definitely have been a problem. He was just very raw.
Always a problem.
Yeah,
And the Eagles are doing
but-
fantastic. It's just they ran into that one little issue that they turned very bad, which caused his incarceration.
well, that was before the Eagles. But
Falcons.
yeah, that was with the Falcons. But let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic. So as far as being the GOAT, it's hard because it's totally different criteria. So I mean, like if we're talking about just being the greatest football player, he'll definitely be up there.
Yeah, he's
the greatest
definitely
football player, flat out.
He's the
He'll
greatest
definitely up there.
ever.
I got Jim Brown up there. I got
I don't know if I could say he's
Jerry
my great.
Rice.
It's a lot of people who's going to say he's the greatest quarterback. I don't know.
I mean,
Jerry
if you're
Rice.
looking at 6 championships, yeah.
Like nobody else has that. And if he literally gets number 7, come on, in a different conference, you can't name me any other quarterback who's done that.
So again, if you're just talking about just winning, that's a totally different conversation. He's the greatest winner of all time.
It literally
quarterback?
helps his resume, and that literally what sets him apart. If you literally accumulate, not even accumulate, but if you really have everything, put them all together, then Tom Brady he's definitely top 10, maybe top 5. Greatest quarterback still.
Maybe more than top 5.
I'm about to say
He's top 3. He's top 3 no matter what. But as far as being number 1, you're splitting hairs. When my arguments, you're splitting hairs with me because I look at every single aspect of being a football player or being a quarterback. And you got to have the intangibles. You got to have skill as well. You haven't seen Brady throw the ball 80 yards downfield. You know he don't do that. Mahomes will do that in a second. He has that arm strength to do that. If you don't have to do it, if that doesn't happen, it is what it is. Tom Brady doesn't have to run.
he's never
He ran
he never had the
he ran like
offensive line needing to run, so he's always been pass first.
He's been hit. He's been hit. But the fact is, like, you don't have these type of skills. So I'm splitting hairs when it comes to certain things. Like Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham, some of those guys were some of the best athletes. Cordell Stewart, his name was Slash. He played almost every position on the field. Like, there's been some very good athletes and some very skilled guys, but not everybody has won it. Tom Brady has found himself in a wonderful situation, being with Belichick, winning 6 there, and now coming with Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich and carrying this team to hopefully win one more. So I mean, he's just been in some great situations. But if you had him on the Jets, or if you had him going to the Chargers, he wouldn't have done nothing. You wouldn't have heard about Tom Brady, unless like you almost
Chargers
didn't hear
Philip
about Drew
Rivers that?
Brees.
What about with the Chargers?
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about when Brady first came in and Drew Brees was down there, like
and
right
Phillip
around
Rivers
that time.
4 years later, so it would have took him like 4 years. And when did Philip Rivers go to the AFC Championship?
But when did you see him have that team? Philip Rivers never really had that defense to help him. Brady always had the defense to help him. So what I'm saying is
They lost that Super Bowl.
Brady
So I can't-
always had a defense to help him. You
I
can't go
mean,
16-0 without a defense. What I'm saying is this.
There was
If you
one year
have-
they had a bad defense, but they made it to the Super Bowl.
Did they win the Super Bowl?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't count. Okay. So what I'm saying is this. When it comes to Brady versus any other QBs, I think Brady just found himself in a way more favorable situation than a lot of other QBs. And he's taking advantage of it with the skills and the gifts that he has. But do I say he's the greatest? It's tough.
So who do we think is going to win the Super Bowl? That's the question. Probably taking Brady.
I'm taking Kansas City.
You see, Kansas City has to outscore people.
Yeah.
They very rarely stop people. Very rarely. They have speed.
They always
and
put high points up and let the opponent's play catch up.
It's got to be
Regardless if they do, they still
like.
But just the young goat versus the old goat. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. I definitely like to see Kansas City go back to back, like I said. I don't know if they're going to pull it off, or is Tom Brady going to get his 7th, and then AB gets his ring, Gronk gets his. They finally bring one back into Tampa again. It's going to be interesting to see.
19 years.
I kind of feel like, okay,
First team to host the Super Bowl, and you.
that's one, because nobody that's never happened before. Nobody can ever say they played in their home stadium in the Super Bowl. That's one. Tom Brady literally comes from an era of quarterbacks who can read defenses perfectly. He can. Don't sleep. Don't sleep.
Interceptions.
Okay. I mean, yeah, of course. You always gonna throw interceptions, of course.
I mean, yeah.
He can dissect a good defense. He'll understand how to utilize it in his advantage, of course. And bro, literally, this is my personal belief and how I've seen any sport, how I've seen any sports. Period. Veteran and experience always beat young talent. That's how I've seen it as. If you're a veteran, you know how to utilize the game. You're definitely going to beat the younger talent. Especially how they was being cocky yesterday. You can't be cocky like that.
But my thing is, they're not inexperienced. They went to the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl. They know what it takes to win the Super Bowl.
If I said inexperience, let me take that back. But I definitely said young.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely said young.
Even being young, they won it being young.
That's cool. Russell Wilson won it being young.
Oh, that's a...
I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying.
I'm sitting this one out.
I'm just saying.
Because when you just say Russell Wilson won, like, the Legion of Boom wasn't there. Like, you feel me? Like, you can't just throw that out
They
there.
had 5 of the best defensive players on that team last year.
Like, you feel me? Like, that's not even
Actually,
the
6.
same.
6 of them.
It was still LOB when they was playing Tom Brady, right?
Was I don't think Brown was there, but I guess the name was there. Maxwell was not that guy. No,
he wasn't. He went to the Jets and got burnt.
Yeah, it was Sherman.
Exactly.
It was Sherman, Chancellor, and Thomas. That
Sherman, Thompson, Thomas,
and Chancellor.
They were the heart and soul.
No, Cam Chancellor was the heart and soul of that daggone defense.
He was.
But when why do I keep saying Thompson? When Earl Thomas went down, that defense went down with him.
Well, because you didn't have a deep threat no more. You could just throw the ball deep on him. But who was the enforcer?
Cam.
All right.
That's what
I'm saying. That was the heart and soul of that defense. He made that defense work.
Yeah, but Tom Brady was still able to not even expose, but he was still able to utilize it in his advantage to still pull out the game.
The whole thing, I agree with you. But the thing about that defense was that they were a base cover 3 system with, I believe, Dan Quinn, who was the former head coach of the Falcons, was the defense coordinator there. Ken Norton was the linebackers coach. That team was a cover 3 base team. Like it didn't matter. Like they were just that good at that point. So at that point, Tom Brady was like, I know how to beat a cover 3. Like it's not difficult.
Do you know the basis of Kansas City's defense?
They run a 4-2-5. Kind of. I mean, like they were multiple defense. I mean,
and you don't think Brady don't know how to dissect that?
I didn't say that he didn't. But you don't think? I think that it's gonna be a good game, and that's why I said Brady's probably gonna win. Yes. But at the same time, I'm not counting. It's gonna be one of those games where it's like, ooh, Mahomes got a.
He's definitely good.
He's a 15-0.
Mahomes gonna let you know this is who I am, but Tom Brady's gonna be like, I'm the GOAT for a reason.
Tom Brady shows up when he needs to. I'm interested to see how he's going to be in the first 2 quarters.
Do you think that defense will be able to contain him?
Did you think that the Falcons defense was able to contain him for the first 3 quarters?
First of all, time out. We're not going to bring my team up.
Well, we got to. Only because it's like he showed up when he needed to. And he showed up.
Let me tell you why we're not going to. This is why we're not going to do this.
I'm sorry, but this is why we're not going to do this. No, I'm not sorry. He drove down the field on y'all defense.
Right. So,
and made it look easy.
First of all, if you knew the makeup of our team that year, we outscored every opponent. Yeah. And we were still giving up 20 to 28 points. Mm-hmm. It's a reason why we only played 3 quarters. Because we were only good the first 3 quarters. Every time of the fourth quarter came, we folded. Which a lot of people didn't pick up, I guess, because of our record and because we made it to the Super Bowl. But I am not shocked at the fact that they came back.
Yeah, that played
because if we score two more touchdowns, we win the game. But we have to outscore you. That means we're putting up 40 plus. Because our defense is going to give up 20 to 28. Easy 20 to 28. And they're going to give it up fast. So the fact that you don't bring Atlanta up and talk about that.
Only reason why I said
my thing is Tom Brady, him being a veteran, him having the experience that he had in the league, he's going to be just fine. But I would like to see Mahomes outplay him this time.
So if that happens,
in the Super Bowl, on the biggest stage,
I promise y'all
because they played earlier, and
I got a question for
Tyreek Hill went off.
Go ahead.
All I'm gonna say is I would love for Mahomes and the Chiefs to win again. Andy Reid definitely deserved it, especially since when he went to the Super Bowl with the Eagles, he lost to Tom Brady. So he definitely deserves that number 2. I want that to happen. I definitely do. But bro.
So let me ask you a question. When was the last time that Brady was in a real shootout? A real shootout. Like, it's like, that quarterback on the other side can really, like, do some damn. Yeah, like, I mean, like.
Make a run for his money.
Yeah, like, in the Super Bowl type thing. Like, all the Super Bowl opponents.
In the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I can name maybe.
I can't say he's been in a shootout.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when was the last time you thought he was a shootout?
The score was close.
So, the thing. You're talking about a team.
But that wasn't a shootout, though. It was a low-scoring game.
It was. It was like 17 something.
Yeah, it was.
So, my thing is this.
I got 2 Super Bowls where it was close in score, but I can't say shootout.
That's what I'm saying. So, this game is going to be a shootout.
I would say Philly was a shootout.
That's one of 2 that I was going to say.
That was definitely a high-scoring affair.
It was literally down to a field goal. It was literally down to a field goal. Literally,
T.O.
I'm on half a leg and they can't stop me.
I'm not talking about T.O. I'm talking about the one they just lost.
Yeah, so what was the score? The one in a couple years ago.
Yeah, they did play the Eagles.
So, what I want to know what the score of that game, because, excuse me,
41-33. That's a shootout.
All right. So now let's take that as his last evidence for being in a shootout in a high pressure game.
Okay.
With that, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it again. He's been able to do it whether he's in control or whether he can come back. But as far as going toe for toe, shot for shot, downfield pass for downfield pass, it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts.
Definitely.
Then
That's my only
criteria for seeing if Brady wins or seeing Mahomes win. Because defensively, both teams are pretty passive. I think that the Chiefs' defense is way more passive, and they're going to give up way more yards. But at the same time, Mahomes is still – he ain't the GOAT in the league right now, but –
youngest quarterback under the age of 25, it's him.
He's still – yeah, okay. But I'm saying he ain't the GOAT yet.
He's
Brady's still in
he's
the
the
league.
best quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Until Brady retires. Well, when Brady retires.
Under the age of 25.
I'm just saying.
Under the age of 25.
I'm not going – he's the best quarterback in the league.
That's cute.
I'm sorry. Tell y'all that.
No, I respect it. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how he, comes out. If if Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, is uber aggressive, or if he's like, let's see, let's figure this out. Let's figure it out because Byron Leftwich has never been there. Bruce Arians has never been there. Todd Bowles has never been there. That team has never been there other than Brady Gronk.
That's true.
Very true.
Hey, you're right.
He's about to go on TikTok.
And how you just said, only 2 people have been there. It brings up my point earlier. Experience definitely plays a key factor. Because the Chiefs have experience, majority of them, because they rarely changed up that entire squad.
They have
honestly.
recent experience, but
Exactly.
Brady has the experience.
So what you're not going to do is keep switching up, though.
What you mean?
Because you just said Tom Brady and then had the experience factor on their side. Now you're talking about the coaching staff with Kansas City being the experience factor. Who you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
I said this 3 times, and I will say it a 4th. I want Patrick Mahomes
to get
and
a
the
second.
Chiefs to go back to back. That's what I want. But I feel as though they will get it to Tom.
Okay, and you're going Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
And
Like I
what
said,
about you?
I'm going Mahomes.
Oh, yeah, you said Mahomes.